The story begins in 1940, at a critical moment. Britain desperately needed fighters to defend against the Luftwaffe, but their production capacity was stretched. The British approached North American Aviation, requesting that they produce Curtiss P-40 Warhawks under license. Instead, NAA's president, James Dutch Kindleberger, boldly promised that his team could design a completely new fighter, one superior to the P-40, in less time than it would take to set up P-40 production. Led by chief designer Edgar Schmude, NAA produced a prototype in just 117 days. That speed of development was nearly unprecedented. The result was the NA-73X prototype, the earliest Mustang. At first, the Mustang used an Allison V1710 engine, which performed well at low altitudes but lacked high-altitude power. The breakthrough came when the British suggested, and Rolls-Royce tested, installing the Merlin engine, famous for powering the Spitfire and Hurricane. This marriage of American engineering and British power created one of the finest piston-engine fighters of all time, the P-51B Mustang. The Mustang's defining trait wasn't just its speed and agility, it was its range. Equipped with drop tanks, the P-51 could escort bombers deep into Germany, farther than any Allied fighter before it. Until then, U.S. and British bombers had been left vulnerable to German fighters once past certain ranges, suffering devastating losses. With Mustangs escorting Boeing B-17 Flying Fortresses and consolidated B-24 Liberators all the way to Berlin and back, the balance of air power shifted dramatically. The Luftwaffe, once dominant, found itself outnumbered and outperformed. Mustang pilots cut through formations of Messerschmitt Bf-109s and Focke-Wulf FW-190s, clearing the skies for Allied bombers. The Mustang became synonymous with long-range escort missions, and its presence saved thousands of bomber crews. Beyond strategic bombing, the Mustang also proved its worth in close air support. Armed with 6 50-caliber Browning machine guns and capable of carrying bombs or rockets, P-51s strafed trains, convoys, and enemy positions across Europe, crippling German logistics and hammering the Wehrmacht from the air. P-51 pilots racked up impressive records in combat. The Mustang scored more air-to-air victories than any other U.S. fighter in Europe, destroying nearly 5,000 enemy aircraft. Its kill-to-loss ratio soared above most contemporaries. Among its most famous pilots was Chuck Yeager, who later broke the sound barrier but cut his teeth flying P-51s over Europe. George Preddy, the highest-scoring Mustang ace, shot down 26.83 enemy aircraft before being tragically killed by friendly fire on Christmas Day, 1944. Another ace, Bud Anderson, flew over 100 missions without ever being shot down, earning him the nickname Old Crow after his Mustang's nose art. One of the Mustang's most legendary units was the Tuskegee Airmen, the famed African-American fighter group. Flying their distinctive red-tailed P-51s, the Red Tails built a stellar record protecting bombers, helping shatter both enemy planes and racial barriers. When World War II ended, the Mustang did not fade away. It saw extensive service in the Korean War, performing ground attack missions until jet fighters like the F-86 Sabre fully replaced it. Globally, the Mustang was exported widely. More than 55 countries flew it, from Sweden and Switzerland to Israel, China, and Australia. It served into the 1960s in some nations, and the Dominican Republic retired its last Mustangs in 1984, over 4 decades after the design first flew. By the end of its service, nearly 16,000 P-51s had been built. The aircraft remains a symbol of innovation under pressure. Developed in record time, refined with a perfect engine pairing, and fielded in massive numbers where it mattered most. Its ability to escort bombers, dominate dogfights, and strike targets on the ground made it arguably the most versatile fighter of its era. Today, the Mustang is a beloved warbird at air shows and in private collections. The roar of its Merlin engine still sends chills down the spine of aviation enthusiasts. More than just a machine, the P-51 Mustang embodies the determination and ingenuity that helped secure Allied victory in World War II. The P-51 wasn't just a fighter, it was a game-changer. Born of urgency, honed in battle, and remembered in history, it remains one of the most iconic aircraft ever built. For bomber crews, it meant survival. For the Allies, it meant victory. And for the world, it became a timeless symbol of freedom in the skies.